both teams are ready, and we got both the captains on over here, and we got the third umpire Venkatesh ready. So, do we have a coin for the toss?
Yeah.
And who's the home team?
Okay. The building is set.
Who is the home team?
And it is a
Stars
state.
are the home team, so
Okay.
you will toss and you
Okay.
will toss.
This is tail and the building is head.
Okay.
Okay. Head or tail?
Tails.
Tail's called. Head it is.
Batting first.
Okay. Bauhinia starts batting first.
So, Bauhinia Stars have won the toss, and they will be batting first.
Okay.
Jazz wanna select the ball.
Right. Welcome to the Women's Premier League. The one-day series was won by the Jade Jets, winning 2 games to 1. But we are in the start of a T20 series, and both teams are ready, and we got both the captains on over here, and we got the third umpire Venkatesh ready. So, do we have a coin for the toss?
Yeah.
And who's the home team?
Okay. The building is set.
Who is the home team?
And it is a
Stars
state.
are the home team, so
Okay.
you will toss and you
Okay.
will toss.
This is tail and the building is head.
Okay.
Okay. Head or tail?
Tails.
Tail's called. Head it is.
Batting first.
Okay. Bauhinia starts batting first.
So, Bauhinia Stars have won the toss, and they will be batting first.
Okay.
Jazz wanna select the ball.
Right. Welcome to the Women's Premier League. The one-day series was won by the Jade Jets, winning 2 games to 1. But we are in the start of a T20 series, and both teams are ready, and we got both the captains on over here, and we got the third umpire Venkatesh ready. So, do we have a coin for the toss?
Yeah.
And who's the home team?
Okay. The building is set.
Who is the home team?
And it is a state.
Stars are the home team, so
Okay.
you will toss and you
Okay.
will toss.
This is tail and the building is head.
Okay.
Okay. Head or tail?
Tails.
Tail's called. Head it is.
Batting first.
Okay. Bauhinia starts batting first.
So, Bauhinia Stars have won the toss, and they will be batting first.
Okay.
Jazz wanna select the ball.
Right. Welcome to the Women's Premier League. The one-day series was won by the Jade Jets, winning 2 games to 1. We are in the start of a T20 series, and both teams are ready, and we got both the captains on over here, and we got the third umpire Venkatesh ready. So, do we have a coin for the toss?
Yeah.
And who's the home team?
Okay. The building is set.
Who is the home team?
And it is a state.
Stars are the home team, so
Okay.
you will toss and you
Okay.
will toss.
This is tail and the building is head.
Okay.
Okay. Head or tail?
Tails.
Tail's called. Head it is.
Batting first.
Okay. Bauhinia starts batting first.
So, Bauhinia Stars have won the toss, and they will be batting first.
Okay.
Jazz wanna select the ball.
Right. Welcome to the Women's Premier League. The one-day series was won by the Jade Jets, winning 2 games to 1. But we are in the start of a T20 series, and both teams are ready, and we got both the captains on over here, and we got the third umpire Venkatesh ready. So, do we have a coin for the toss?
Yeah.
And who's the home team?
Okay. The building is set.
Who is the home team?
And it is a state.
Stars are the home team, so
Okay.
you will toss and you
Okay.
will toss.
This is tail and the building is head.
Okay.
Okay. Head or tail?
Tails.
Tail's called. Head it is.
Batting first.
Okay. Bauhinia starts batting first.
So, Bauhinia Stars have won the toss, and they will be batting first.
Okay.
Jazz wanna select the ball.
Right. Welcome to the Women's Premier League. The one-day series was won by the Jade Jets, winning 2 games to 1. But we are in the start of a T20 series, and both teams are ready, and we got both the captains on over here, and we got the third umpire Venkatesh ready. So, do we have a coin for the toss?
Yeah.
And who's the home team?
Okay. The building is set.
Who is the home team?
And it is a state.
Stars are the home team, so
Okay.
you will toss and you
Okay.
will toss.
This is tail and the building is head.
Okay.
Okay. Head or tail?
Tails.
Tail's called. Head it is.
Batting first.
Okay. Bauhinia starts batting first.
So, Bauhinia Stars have won the toss, and they will be batting first.
Okay.
Jazz wanna select the ball.
Right. Welcome to the Women's Premier League. The one-day series was won by the Jade Jets, winning 2 games to 1. But we are in the start of a T20 series, and both teams are ready, and we got both the captains on over here, and we got the third umpire Venkatesh ready. So, do we have a coin for the toss?
Yeah.
And who's the home team?
Okay. The building is set.
Who is the home team?
And it is a state.
Stars are the home team, so
Okay.
you will toss and you
Okay.
will toss.
This is tail and the building is head.
Okay.
Okay. Head or tail?
Tails.
Tail's called. Head it is.
Batting first.
So welcome everyone to the first of the T20 of the Women's Premier League. Those of you who are regular watchers will have seen the previous series, which was two 35 over matches and a 40 over match. So now we're moving into the shorter format for the Bauhinia Stars versus the Jade Jets. T20 competition. There'll be 3 of these matches over the next 3 to 4 weeks, and this is the first of which today at Kwong Reserve. The Bauhinia Stars won the toss, and Carrie Chan, the captain of the Bauhinia Stars, has elected to bat. It's a pretty warm, steamy day today here in Hong Kong. Normally we would play a number of these matches in the morning time, so the ladies are getting the warmth of the day, starting with the 2 p.m. start. I might just run through the team sheets for you today. So the batting team, Bauhinia Stars, as I say, captained by Carrie Chan. We'll also have Shanzine Shahzad, Jennifer Davies, Alison Su, Amanda Chung, Anam Ahmed, Dorothea Chan, Emma Lai, Maheen Haidar, Marianne Bibi, and Rashida Venkatesh. Marianne Bibi will take on the vice captaincy role for today's match. For the Jade Jets, who will be taking the field in the first innings, we've got the captain there, Jasmine Titmus, Mariko Hill as vice captain. Other players in that team are Lemon Chung, Betty Chan, Chan Soha, Katie Gibbons, Kinu Gill, Pulto, Rajveer Kaur, Tammy Chu and Tinaz Kabari. So a few changes into the Jade Jets lineup for this match. And the Bauhinia Stars has continued with the same squad as what they've had in the longer series. Game will be starting in about 10 minutes.
And then you pick your
So we'll come back in a few minutes' time just to give you an update at that time.
Yes. That's my one. Welcome along to Kwong Road Recreation Ground on what is a very, very hot afternoon here in Hong Kong. We're getting ready for the first of the T20 Women's Premier League here in Hong Kong between the Bauhinia Stars and the Jade Jets. If you were with us earlier in the cricket season, these two teams played in the Women's Premier League longer format, coming into a final match. The third and final match was a big decider, and in the end won by the Jade Jets. So the Bauhinia Stars will be looking to level this series and take the series out to get one back over the Jade Jets. I've got with me Tracy Walker, who will take us through the different team lists for the day.
Thanks, Mark. So the Bauhinia Stars did win the toss and they've chosen to bat. They'll be led by Kerry Chan as captain and Marianne Bibi as the vice captain. Other players within that team for today is Shanzine Shazad, Jennifer Davies, Alison Sue, Amanda Chung, Anam Ahmed, Dorothy Chan, Emma Lai, Maheen Haidar and Ruchita Venkatesh. And taking the field for the Jade Jets, they will be bowling first. Captain today is Jasmine Titmus and Vice Captain Mariko Hill. And the rest of that squad today will be Lemon Chong, Betty Chan, Chansa Ha, Katie Gibbons, Kinu Gill, Pul To, Rajveer Kaur, Tammy Chu and Tinez Karbari. So a couple of changes there to the squad for the Jade Jets for this match. The Bauhinia Stars has kept a standard squad from the longer form, but we have had some changes for the Jade Jets. Looking forward to seeing how the ladies actually change to the shorter format today. Being here for the Men's All-Star Series earlier in the year, we did see some huge sixes being hit. Looking forward to see whether the ladies with shorter format might be able to get some over the boundary as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And just prior to this match was played was the Women's Under-19 final, so I think we've got a few of them floating around, so hopefully we've got some vocal spectators that are going to enjoy what will, I'm sure, be a fantastic game of cricket. Moving into the T20 format will certainly be the preferred format by all the girls. That's what league cricket is dominated by T20 cricket, and all of the international cricket that Hong Kong goes to play is 2020 cricket. So this is the favoured format and the format that the girls are comfortable and know, and they'll be excited to get out there and put their skills on show.
Opening the bat there for the Bauhinia Stars looks like it's Emma Lai and Shanzine
Shazad, yes.
And opening the bowling for the Jade Jets is Betty Chan with her very hard to get away spin, and the wicketkeeper there is Lemon Chung.
It looks like quite an overcast day at the moment, but I can assure you it's very, very hot here in Hong Kong. Currently 32 degrees, but I'm looking at my weather app and it says feels like 38, so it'll be a really good test for these players out there in hot conditions. So we're just waiting for the officials to give us the signal to get underway.
Looks to be just the one fielder outside of the circle, looking for that slope sweep over cow corner.
Yeah.
Three others on the leg side inside the circle, and the rest we've got on the off. Here comes Betty.
Wide outside off and just guided through to short third man, and Shanzine very quick to call Emma through and take the one run. So excellent start for the Stars, and Betty, who's a phenomenally consistent bowler and did a fantastic job in the Women's Domestic League final, was incredibly economical. Her Jade Jets teammates will be hoping she can replicate that again today. Straight and defended off the back foot by Shanzine. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in at the moment. If you've got anything you want to say in the live chat, we'll do our best to answer it, and it'd be great to find out where in the world you're streaming from. So if you can just chuck in that live chat where you're streaming from, that would be great, as Shanzine just tries to have a go, but it just squirts out to mid-wicket for no run. Short and pulled away to the leg side, and it's a very slow outfield, but
Just made it over.
got enough to take it away for 4, so that's a fantastic start by this opening partnership. And you can already see the Jade Jets Brains Trust beginning to have a discussion and think about their tactics and strategies.
Video come through, mate.
It's sitting on the outside pane.
That's it, you can, you can pick video up from there if you want. It's a quicker way of
I
doing
want pitched up a bit more. Trying to make sure that she's getting her length right, Betty.
Short and straight and pushed to the fielder at mid-on, and they've
They've snuck through for a single there, so showing their intent very early on there, looking for those singles even when it's hit directly at the fielder. It's good to see.
absolutely. Well, there's two big things that make a huge difference in this cricket, and from the bowling and fielding side, if the bowlers are able to bowl consistently full and at the stumps, you'll see those bowlers and whoever's in that bowling team being more than likely a successful unit if they can do that consistently enough. And from a batting team, if they're able to run between the wickets effectively and be really aggressive with that running between the wickets, capitalise on any run that's on show, then you see that put a lot of pressure on bowling units and fielding units. So the team that's able to do those two things consistently, and more consistently than the opposition, I'm sure will be the team that comes out on top. As we see Jade Jet's captain come in to open the bowling from the police station end, Jasmine Titmus about to open up the bowling from this end.
Jasmine have pushed the third man and the fine leg deep onto the boundary, and all other fielders are inside the circle.
Slides down leg side and tidied up by wicketkeeper Lemon Chung.
Jasmine did have some difficulties with her direction in the final a couple of weeks ago in the domestic league, so hopefully she's able to rectify that after that first ball wide.
Full and defended out to point for no run. Much better delivery for Jasmine, and she'll be looking to target those stumps, as I'm sure many of the other bowlers are. And if they do that, expect to see some wickets falling.
Firmly struck there by Shanzine, out to mid-on, just for the single. A little bit of crossbat there. You can see Jasmine as she's walking back, noticing that there was a bit of a playing across the line, so she'll be putting that in the memory bank. That one a little bit wider outside off stump. Hoping, I think, to get Emma playing at those outside the off stump and got the slip in place there for that little nick.
Ravi.
Went a full toss, which not capitalised by Emma there, but still did get the single out quickly onto it by the mid-wicket there. I think that was Tinaz at the mid-wicket fielding that. ball there by Jasmine. It looks like she's got her line all sorted for this match, so it's good signs from her perspective.
Yeah, some lovely away swing there too. There's a little bit of humidity as this cloud cover comes over. There's currently a little bit of a thunderstorm warning in place over Hong Kong, so hopefully they're localised and they don't come anywhere near us here. Full again and defended. And, you know, as we discussed earlier, and Tracy, when we were at the Women's Domestic League final, we spoke about the team and bowlers that are effective at bowling full and at the stumps are going to start building up a lot of dot balls and pressure, and usually results in a wicket. And Jasmine, with the exception of her first ball down leg side, made a, reinforce that point with a lot of those deliveries just defended and not much intent to try and score off them.
Definitely. I think particularly at the start of the innings there, the batsmen do have a tendency not to move their feet around as much and just trying to defend the balls that are on the stumps. Hopefully we will see them a little bit later on loosen up a little bit and attempt some shots on those as well. We don't have too many dots.
Oh, that just beats the outside edge of Emma. Lovely delivery.
Yeah, great ball by Betty there.
Betty typically brings the ball into the right-hander, but it seemed to just bounce off the wicket and go away, which is interesting. Full, hit down the ground, and that's a lovely shot by Emma Lai.
It has.
There's a diving attempt down the end, but that's been signalled 4 runs. Over pitch by Betty, and that's an absolutely glorious shot by Emma. And I know I was about to say that both these batswomen are more than capable of being quite aggressive down the ground. So watch this space. If the bowler's over pitch, then these players, if they back themselves and back their game, they'll be looking to hit that down the ground. Oh, as Emma looks to wind up again. And no run taken. It's interesting, if we were to look at a replay of that last delivery, I really like the intent from Shanzine at the non-striker's end. She's really backing up hard and really looking for that quick single, like we were speaking about those batting sides that are able to make the most of any singles on offer. They're going to be quite successful. So it's cut out to pull toe and defended and tidied up by Tammy Chu backing up. A reminder, if you tuned in and watching, please type in the live chat where in the world you're watching from. We'd love to hear about where you're watching in the world, and if you've got any questions for us here in the commentary team, feel free to post that in there as well. As we see Emma Lai just goes across her stumps and looks to hit that behind square but unable to connect.
Steps across looking for that leg side, and that went right onto middle stump. So unfortunate for Emma there. She was looking to see whether she could move around her crease to be able to get the big shot, and just mistimed it, and it's straight through.
Yeah, really interesting there from Emma. I don't dislike the intent. I think it's a great intent to have. We've seen that style of play, particularly in the New Zealand cricket, their Women's Super Smash League, with a lot of players going across their stumps and really trying to use the pace of the ball and try and hit over that short fine leg or behind square leg, and it's been a really key run scoring option for a lot of players. It's just about learning how to execute that and which bowlers and when to do it. But if you're able to do that and learn how to do that, it gives you a lot of potential to score runs and really upset the rhythm of the bowlers. Unfortunately for Emma, not to be today, and that brings out, looks like it might be Carrie Chan to the crease.
Yeah. So Carrie coming in at number 3. Gives us the left and right hand combination as the batsman, so that does put a bit more pressure on the bowlers as well.
Yeah, definitely. If that left-hand, right-hand combination gets going, then it can be incredibly frustrating for a bowling unit and the fielding unit having to move around. Sport, also one of the challenges out here is the domestic cricket in Hong Kong is largely played at a ground called Po Kong Village Road Reservoir, also known as PKVR Reservoir. And the ground is very small, particularly at one end, which means the teams only bowl from one end. So it creates quite a different dynamic when you then go out and play a game where you're moving around a much larger field and bowling from both ends. You've really got to be switched on and aware of what's going on. It's struck down the ground, called through for a single, and that's fantastic running between the wickets by Shaz. Outstanding work.
Yeah, so added to that, the left-right hand combination, you know, and the fact that this is outside of our normal cricket season, so it is warmer than what we would normally be playing cricket. You know, it will be interesting to see how the Jade Jets actually keep the enthusiasm up throughout the entire 20 overs. Having to move around quite a lot more than what they used to.
But we've given an extra innings.
Okay, so we've got somebody here watching from Singapore during home school-based learning due to the COVID lockdowns in Singapore. Hopefully you are actually doing your schoolwork on the side as well as watching this fantastic match happening in front of you. Should actually mention it's a Wednesday here in Hong Kong and it is a public holiday, which is why we've got this fixture on today. Another great quick single there, just off the toes, Curry out there to
Through
mid-wicket.
Mid-wicket, yeah.
And a very quick scamper through for a single.
Yeah, that's outstanding bit of running between the wickets, and it makes such a big difference if you're able to capitalise on those little run scoring opportunities, especially with this left-hand right-hand combo. So it's over pitched, pulled out, deep square, and they're going to have to run that. This slow outfield is going to stop that from going to 4.
So they've gotten 2 out of that one.
I really thought they could have called through for 3, but I would have been saying the wrong thing, because it was a fantastic relay throw and great cricket awareness by Kinu to meet halfway there.
It is quite thick grass here at T20 Road Reserve, so it did really pull up there around on that square boundary.
Dragged down and
A little bit short and wide there, but a sneaky run through.
another great piece of running between the wickets, and just no signal from the umpire, so perhaps off the bat.
Yeah, got me.
Looks like we might be seeing Mariko Hill warming up, getting some stretches. Carey worked off her legs, and it's just going to be the single as it goes out to Katie Gibbons. Fantastic throw over the stumps. Very early days, but Wasp predicting a score of 121, which would be a very solid total, I think, on this ground with the slow outfield. Certainly in these hot conditions. Full and defended back by Shamseen. Again, reinforcing, if you're able to bowl full in at the stumps, it's more than likely to get respected.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Jade Jets do here with the bowling. Looks like they are going to continue with Betty for another over. Often Betty actually is bowled her full 4 overs in a block. We've talked in the past about her being very economical, and you know it is quite unusual for a spinner to open the bowling, but they do that often just to ensure that they've got one end that is very tied down, with the aim that the pace bowler at the other end will actually produce the wickets as well. So Betty's had some fantastic figures over the domestic season. I think a couple of weeks ago she ended up with 2 for 8 of her 4 overs. So she really does keep one end locked down, and it's really difficult to get Betty away.
Yeah, absolutely. She can be a phenomenal asset to a side, but there's almost this reliance on her, and if the team starts getting her away, then you can see a little bit of nervousness and panic in a side, because she tends to be that player that you rely on and you know she's going to be solid. So it's interesting to see some field adjustments here, a bit of thought gone into the field they set for Carey, with long on going back, and someone out in sort of out Marico Hill, out in Cow Corner, out on the leg side, deep mid wicket. So it's wide outside off and a dot ball. Just looking at the wagon wheel for the innings thus far, and it looks like just the 2 runs scored on the offside, which is, I think, it's an interesting story. Might say something about the lines, but in particular the lengths that the bowlers are bowling.
Both of those, behind the wicket? So, down to third man, if I'm reading that.
Yeah, 2 just down to third man. So I think that just reinforces there's a few really good singles through that mid-wicket area. An area where you really need to make sure you've got one of your best fielders able to hunt in that area and cut down on any quick singles that the batsman might be looking to take. As Betty comes in again, and Carey just caught on the crease to what was a lovely delivery by Betty, just going past the outside of off stump.
Discussion there between the batsmen, reinforcing the plans. How do we play against Betty?
Yeah, I think tactically, obviously, you want to try and make sure you're still ticking over the scoreboard, but
It's gone for a very late cut there, Barry. Spruced her stumps quite a bit, but good eye-hand coordination allowed her to actually get bat on that.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they approach. Do you look at respecting Betty and not worrying too much about the runs you take off her, but you don't want to give her too many wickets, or are you going to look at challenging her as that's struck cleanly but only out to long on, as it's just 1 run? But Shanzine might be sort of off screen, but her intent with the running between the wickets, her backing up and searching for 2s and extra runs has been phenomenal, and if her and her partner can work together, they'll certainly be capitalising on every opportunity for a run that's out there. Over pitched and just tapped back to the bowler for a dot ball. And the score remains at 20 for 1 after 5 overs. And just going scores around the grounds, very big game in the Men's Sunday Division 1 competition. Actually around the relegation battle. The KCC Infidels batted first, scored 183 all out, only off the 46.3 overs, so failing to bat their full 50. The HKCC Wanderers currently 27 without loss after 4 overs, so a really positive start by them, but watch that space. There's a lot of pressure on that game, and the team that wins will have avoided relegation, and the team that loses will still be in that relegation battle, taking it down to the final weekend on Sunday to see who manages to stay up.
It'd be nice to actually see the HKCC Wanderers bat through today, if they could do that, because they have been known in the past few weeks to have the occasional collapse, so it's good to see that they're 0-4 after 4 overs. That hasn't quite been the same in the last couple of matches they've played in. Yeah,
they've had some jitters. KCC with Niaz Ali, one of the top wicket takers this season, bowling his left arm in swing. His team will be relying on him to make a statement as that skied in the air, and that's carry out to a back of a length ball, probably a short pitch ball, and all she managed to do was hit that straight up in the air and pocketed by Lemon, and that's going to send some shockwaves through the Bauhinia Stars, with Carey being one of their strongest batsmen, and that sees their 2nd wicket fall.
And that was Shanzine who was bowling first
Kinu.
ball there.
Kinu.
Oh, sorry, it was Kinu. Sorry. So change in bowling there that has brought a wicket for them. So good to see. This coming in.
Mariam.
Is Mariam. So vice captain today. And also, is it correct that Mariam played in the under-19s match earlier today as well?
I believe so, yeah. So
Yeah,
she's
she's
She was on the winning side, I believe, for the under-19 fixture, and good little warm-up, though it would be a very hot warm-up given the heat, especially with that sun that's just come out.
Just
Yeah.
goes to show the quality of some of the youngsters here in Hong Kong at the moment. You know, the new competition that we've just held with the under-19s and seeing quality players like Mariam still at the under-19 level, playing in a final there of the under-19s comp, and then coming straight into the Premier League match straight afterwards. So let's see if we can see some big things from her as well.
Carrie refuses to learn to cut the ball. She keeps refusing. Every time we do it, she'll do it, and we go, I want to keep playing strong. You can let go.
It's probably the would be.
Yeah. Full stuff into it. Yeah.
They did run hard on that skied ball, so we've got Shaz on strike, Mariam at the non-striker's end.
Full toss.
Full toss.
What a big appeal. I'll be interested to look at the replay of that. I was blocked by the non-striker.
I think it was just going down.
Certainly not a way you'd want to get out. Yeah, I've just looked at the replay of Carrie's dismissal. It was sort of a ball. Oh, I tell you what. It might be sliding down leg, but it's worth a big shout. Definitely worth a shout.
Well, big back up there by Mariam, and almost 3/4 of the way down the pitch by the time she realised that she was going to be sent back. She did make it back safely. Maybe the throw not quite as direct as it could have been.
Short and wide outside off, and the umpire extends his wings. Yeah, I've just had a look at the replay of Carrie's dismissal, and the ball was just with that right arm over angle going just outside off stump, and she's tried to play that pull shot and stepped away to the leg side a little bit, and the angles don't work, and it's going to be tough to pull that away to the leg side from that position, as that's scooped wide of mid-on, and great bit of running between the wickets by the looks, and that's 2 runs. Again, reinforces the great backing up. Mariam carrying on the great running between the wickets that the Bauhinia Stars have been doing, and a lot of that comes down to how well you back up at the non-strikers end. That's enabled them to get 2 runs there, really maximising the opportunities to score. Short and pulled away, splits the gap. How many are they going to get here?
I think that is going to pull up, so a nice flick back from Punto to
Betty.
And then they've got 2 runs out of it.
Yeah, great running between the wickets and great teamwork in the fielding side, running and chasing a ball in pairs. You see it a lot in international cricket, making sure that you follow up and make sure you're there in support if the ball's flicked in or someone has to dive to bring it in. So great teamwork there. It's just out nice length outside off and left alone. That concludes the 6th over. That's the end of the power play, and the Bauhinia Stars at 25 for 2.
You can't really call it that.
Looks like we're going to see a change of bowling at the other end as well. So at the softball end, Mariko Hill coming on. So we'll have pace from both ends. Keeping one over of Betty's up their sleeve for a little bit later on in the innings.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this battle goes. Mariko comes in, she's got some great pace behind the delivery. Probably has a tendency to drop short a little bit early in her spell, so if she's able to keep that ball pitched up, it's incredibly threatening and challenging for a batsman to score off. Saying that short ball can be used strategically as a weapon.
And she does
So we see it go short first ball, and Mariam failing to capitalise on that, and she'll be disappointed not to have pulled that away. Certainly a big run scoring opportunity.
Mind you, not quite the ball that you want to face as your first ball of the innings. Is something that's short, and you know you're coming out. It's coming at pace.
Yeah,
So it's a good wake-up call for the first ball of the innings.
there, short again. Oh, she's failed.
Gotten onto that, but straight to the fielder at square leg there. So perfectly placed Tinu Gill there.
Well,
Ready for the catch?
I think Marianne will be absolutely devastated with that. The ball was there to be struck and deserved to be struck, and she's just failed to get any power on that ball, and all she's managed to do was just hit that to square leg, and a very comfortable catch for Kunu Gill. So a little bit of a freebie and a bonus wicket there for the Jade Jets, and the Bauhinia Stars now in a bit of trouble at 25 for 3 as we see the experienced Jen Davies coming into the crease. She's going to have a big role to play here with Shanzine.
It's about not having base. No base.
Yeah, so we didn't see much of Jen in the longer formats. I know that she wasn't available for a number of those matches, so it'll be good to see how Jen actually goes in relation to this short format. She was a pretty good nick throughout the local league, so let's hope that she can bring that into this match as well.
Yeah, I've just had a look at that replay of Marianne's dismissal, and she's done a lot of things right, got back and across, but failed to keep a really strong base with her feet to get that power through her arms. And when you take one foot off the ground, it's going to be really difficult to hit it over the infield, especially from that sort of off stump line that was bowled to her. So the field set here with a third man and a fine leg back on the boundary. Short again and cut away, just down to third man for 1 run. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if this is a tactical move to bowl this sort of shorter bowling. Two very, very experienced batswomen at the crease here in Shanzine and Jen Davies. They would have played a lot together in the Hong Kong women's team, so they know how each other plays and hopefully have a good relationship to carry on that great intent that's been shown by the Bauhinia Stars in their running between the wickets.
Yeah, I do expect that there'll be a lot of quick singles being run between these two. They're both reasonably quick between the wickets, and they both want to get up the other end to be facing as many balls as possible. So definitely be the pressure on for runs on every opportunity.
Yeah, a much better ball there by Mariko, challenging the stumps a little bit more and given the respect it deserves by Shanzine. Just back of a length there, worked into mid-wicket for no run. Well, Wasp after the first set of 3 overs was at 120 and now it's dropped down to 103, so there's going to be a bit of work required by the Bauhinia Stars here with a lot of overs left in the innings. Short, pulled away, but only manages to pull straight to the fielder at deep square leg and Kunu Gill. Again, these Shanzine this time will be disappointed not to have capitalised on that. She caught the ball nice and early and played what looked like a nice stroke, but straight to the fielder.
It's good to see that she did get over that ball though and hit it down on the ground, so not taking the risk with that shot.
Yeah, very different approach to Marianne. She went to slightly higher ball to what Marianne faced and tried to get down on the ball and hit it on the ground.
I feel like we've just had a bit of a change in the weather there. The breeze coming through there is a little bit cooler than what it was beforehand.
Yeah, it's going to be
Lana standing in front of the site.
with the thunderstorm warning in place. Be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully they don't come near us and it's localised somewhere else in Hong Kong. As we see Kunu Gill about to come into Jen Davies.
That's a very wide one by Kinu. She just made it onto the edge of the pitch there.
And scores on the doors around the grounds. The HKCC Wanderers are 41 for 1 after 6.2, chasing 183 in a 50 over match. full and sliding down leg side. So that's another wide, one on the offside, one on the leg side. Big in-swing there, failing to control it. Niaz Ali, the man who's been taking loads of wickets this season for the KCC Infidels, is the one to pick up Nazaket Khan and take that big wicket for Kowloon Cricket Club. Nazaket out for 21 off 13. Full and just squirted to short fine leg, no run. Thanks again to all of those people that are tuning in to the live stream for what is the first match of the Women's Premier League 2020 series, a series of 3 matches.
Much better ball there, good length, looked to be right on middle stump. Jen just whipping it away behind her legs there to fine leg. The fine leg is well placed up inside the circle at the moment. In fact, I think we have the entire field inside the circle at the moment.
That splits the gap and between square leg and mid wicket, and they come back. Great running between the wickets for 2 runs on what is a very slow outfield. Keanu getting quite a lot of in-swing here, so expect to see more runs scored on the leg side.
Just struggling a bit there with her length.
It's interesting, we were sort of speaking earlier, Tracy, about the wagon wheel was showing us that the vast majority of runs are scored on the leg side, and Keanu bowling in swing, which would suggest that you want to have your best fielders perhaps on that leg side if she's going to bowl that stump to stump line. And looking around on the offside, it looks like the best fielders are, sat through the offside there.
Yeah.
So tactically might be something to look at in terms of pulling across a Mariko, Chansahar or a pull toe into some of those sort of hotspot areas on the leg side. As we see a field set change with skipper Jasmine Titmus coming down to long on for the last ball of the over.
I think that's a better line for Keanu to be focused on. She is getting that swing into the batsman, so I like her to be focused outside the off stump. Get them really questioning whether they need to play the ball or not, depending on how much it's swinging. So I think sometimes the ladies are very focused on aiming directly at the stumps and forgetting the fact that they actually get quite a bit of swing. And sometimes when you're getting that in swing, it's good to be aiming out of that 5th or even 6th stump, aiming to really question the batsman's decision making.
Absolutely. If you're able to sort of challenge that top of off stump, and if you slide just outside onto that 4th stump line, then you create that indecision and opportunity to bring in lots of modes of dismissals. So we see Mariko coming into Shanzine. Back of a length.
Continuing with
Not a lot of power, and interesting field set change actually. I didn't pick up on that the first ball of the over, with Keanu Gills dropped back to deep square leg, so that might suggest that this short ball bowling might continue.
interesting though, because they did get the wicket through having her up and cut off a number of singles by having her up earlier in the last over from Mariko as well. So interesting that they're allowing that to taking the pressure off that piece as well.
It's full, lovely delivery, and just goes off the pad and onto the stumps, and Mariko Hill takes the wicket of Jen Davies, who I believe is a business partner of hers in the business that they've set up, so that could be interesting at their lunchtime business meeting, talking about that on Monday morning. And the Bauhinia Stars now reeling.
Although quite an experienced bat coming in now is Ruchita Venkatesh. She has been opening for her club throughout this current league, so by no means is a weak batsman. She actually has been making quite a lot of runs, made a couple of 50s I think this season. with the HKCC Willow Wilders. So whilst a few wickets are down, they're not yet out. I think there's still some good batting to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruchi more than capable with the bat, and had a fantastic partnership with Mariko Hill in the women's Division 1 club final. And so this is going to have to be a big partnership, not only in terms of runs, but getting through some of these overs, because we're not even at the halfway point and Bauhinia Stars 4 down. That's going to really have an impact on their ability to score runs through the back end of this innings.
Hopefully they'll be able to steady the ship a little bit, but not dry up the runs. Let's see what she can do against her club teammate, Mariko.
Back of a length and defended by Ruchi. Lovely ball, but I'd love to see Mariko challenge those stumps a little bit more. Immediately she got a wicket with that ball to Jan that was pitched up and went off the pads, bringing the opportunity to move the ball through the air and get it swinging. It's going to be difficult for a batsman to hit against that pace and hit down the ground to score runs. Here we go, good intent to get full, but just slides down the leg side. So you're looking at the field, there's a third man, fine leg and deep square, so clearly putting some protection out for that short ball for a pull shot. I'm not sure that we'd see that as been a wicket taking or a catch opportunity that deep in the field, so must be there as a run saving position. So that's guided down to third man for 1 run by Ruchi. Sakia Khan predicting a score of 140. Well, we'd love to see a score of 140, but Wasp at the moment predicting a score of 95, so have to be something that happens here. Oh dear.
Extra bounce there.
Extra bounce, and it's gone off the outside edge, but we've gone from sublime running between the wickets to a really big missed opportunity there. That's sort of squirted behind point, and an easy opportunity for a single and not taken there.
The only thing I can think of there is the fielder at point is Chansahar, which is probably one of the stronger fielders in the competition, and she is left-handed, so the fact that it was heading towards her left hand, although it was quite wide of her and she needed to move to be able to get there. I'm sure there was a single available, but that's the only thing that I think may have gone through the minds of the batsmen.
Yeah, it's tough as well, having lost 4 wickets early. You can get into that dangerous situation of being a little bit more risk averse and not willing to run between the wickets as hard as you might have been and had that confidence, and you've got to try and put that behind you and make sure you're still capitalising on every opportunity to score runs. As we see a bowling change, Katie Gibbons coming in at the police station end. You'd know Katie very well from your time at HKCC. What's she like as a bowler?
Yeah, so Katie always surprises you, so she'll get quite a lot of outswing. She comes in off only 2 or 3 steps, so you think that it's not going to be as quick, but she's got a really quick arm movement that really gets more pace than what you're expecting it's going to be. And as I say, she gets quite a bit of outswing on that as well. So although the girls out there batting at the moment will have seen her bowl before and will be expecting that, she does really whip it in. And a little bit short to begin with, and Ruchi is straight onto that one. Punched
Oh, and it has
that
gone
has
for
gone
4.
but only just. It was like watching lawn bowls there, the ball coming through and just touched the kitty at the end.
Absolutely, that ball was absolutely crushed. Lovely shot, and would have been criminal if that didn't go for 4, but obviously just came up and gave the boundary rope a little kiss.
Run a single off the last ball, the last over.
Yeah,
Yes.
third man.
They run it down. So how was Rucci on strike? How was Rucci on strike?
Good question. Good question.
Average average batting speed.
And there's
How
Peel
is that?
there. I think there might be a little bit of back and forth pad there, but good appeal there by the Jade Jets.
And we've got our detectives on to a situation where we think, sort of had a feeling that Shanzine should have been on strike at the beginning of this over, and it ended up being Rucci. So our detectives are trying to work out if our eyes are tricked us at the start of the over, or whether the batsmen here have played a little swifty and got themselves batting at the other end. Maybe Rucci was keen to face Katie, I don't know.
Well, as you did say before, we do normally play our matches on PKVR Reserve, which is a very small ground, and we bowl from the one end. So it is natural for us all to really think about the batsmen switching as opposed to the bowlers. So maybe it was just a lack of concentration at the over break and forgetting how the game works on a large field.
Scotty, thanks for the Scotty Do 81. Thanks for the little heads up about. I'm just tucking into some almonds. Our lunch has been a little bit late arriving, and we're also using a brand new microphone today, which is clearly a lot better at picking up the sound, and you can hear me munching away on these nice, crunchy, salted almonds. So I apologise to that, and I'll make sure that I sit far away if I'm munching on my almonds.
Those of you who have tuned into a number of matches, either the Women's Premier League or the Men's Epic All-Stars League, you will actually know that Mark likes to talk about food quite a bit when he's on the microphone. So always talking about what's coming up for lunch, what snacks people might be bringing along to him. I got some pressure one game to turn up with some ham and cheese croissants for the commentary team. So, obvious that Mark does have a need to be thinking about or eating food at any point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like my food, and Hong Kong's got some fantastic restaurants and places that you can go away. The wide variety of cuisines. I believe our lunch has been ordered. It's going to be a bit of a mystery because I don't know what it is
So
or where it's coming from. No biryani this time from Order Online HK, who were fantastic supporters and sponsors of the All-Stars series.
Okay, so we've got introduction of spin again, left through the umpire around the wicket, Chan Saha. So it'll be interesting to see how the batsmen go with dealing with Chan Saha's spin.
Yeah, Chan Saha took a bit of a break from cricket and back to it, and trying to get back and find her rhythm as a left arm bowler, as that's low full toss has just punched him it on, and Shaz pirouettes in disgust, turning and feeling like she's really missed out there. Yeah, Chan Saha can be a really effective bowler when she starts getting into her rhythm and gets that left arm angle coming into the right hander, and hopefully getting the ball to straighten as well, beat the outside edge. So it's floated up and just defended.
Yeah, these first three balls she seems to have gotten her flight quite good, which is good to see. Early in the season she definitely had a case of the yips. She seems to have gotten through that now, which is fantastic.
It's full and squared out to point for no run. Yeah, the yips is an interesting one. I believe sort of studies conducted say that left arm finger spin bowlers get affected by the yips more than any other bowling style, and I don't know whether that's a left brain, right brain sort of thing, but left arm off spinners tend to be the ones that get affected more than anyone else. We see a reverse.
And a huge appeal as well. Seems to have fallen over in her switch of action there, Shaz, and she's walking away now to really gather her thoughts, but went for the reverse sweep and got hit on the pads. Big appeal, turned down by the umpire.
Yeah, it looks to have hit her outside the line of off stump there. Very good slow-mo replay. Is that a new addition to our... we've got a new addition. That's the first time we've used a slow-mo replay, which was excellent, as that swept conventionally this time with a little top edge over short fine leg just for the one run as Tammy cleans it up and throws it in. Now our detectives have come back to us and said there was a little bit of a boo-boo, a bit of a situation where at the end of the previous over the batsman went to the wrong ends and Ruchi, who shouldn't have been facing, was facing. And scored a 4 off the first ball, so look, there'll be an inquiry into that at the end of the game, I'm sure.
As our third umpire spotted that.
Katie Gibbons continuing on
At the
from
scorers.
the police station there.
Full and wide outside off, no run. Thanks Sakir for the compliments on our commentary. We do our best, certainly not our day job, but we try.
Oh, that one's wide down leg side and whipped off the legs there by Shaz. She's
Yeah, fantastic
Working hard.
footwork.
working hard to get back for the second.
Yeah, great footwork by Shenzhen, and any other day of the week that would be 4, but this outfield doesn't appear to have been cut for quite some time and players just unable to get the value for shots. So in this heat it's going to be a really big test of everyone's stamina, particularly when you're batting and having to run between the wickets so much. So it slides down leg side and the umpire extends his arms and that will be a wide. Score at 41 for 4 as this recovery continues. Full toss and
Dispatched through.
Betty running in from the boundary. Just the one run. This team making sure there's a bit of protection there, but I'm surprised to see some of the fielders that are on the boundary are right down close on the rope on such a slow outfield. They only need to be 10, 15, 20 yards in off the boundary because it's short and wide and wided by the umpire.
Particularly when you have a bowler such as Katie who really probably doesn't get as much pace naturally than someone like a Mariko or a Inu. The batsman's got to make a lot of the pace off the bat. So I do expect that being in from the boundary line is probably a better option. Can't see anyone really hitting it over the heads of somebody who was maybe 10 yards in from the boundary. That one just played out the cover there. Fielded by Mariko.
Umpires made a mistake, isn't it?
Yep. And the scorers
Again,
couldn't figure
continued
out.
with this very strong offside fielding between point and
And Matt Stiller would like this, the right on the tip of my tongue, as we go around the grounds and we see that the KCC Infidels, having posted 183 all out at drinks, now have the Wanderers 46 for 2 after 10 overs. So that game is in the balance, I can tell you that much. I'm not sure who's taken that second wicket. I'll try and find that out for you. Ardik Gurawara out to, I think, Vikas Sharma, but it could be Vishal Sharma, caught by a Ahan Trivedi. So the two openers that have been scoring runs for the Wanderers this year have both departed, and the Wanderers still with quite a bit of work to do. As we see the sun come out from behind the clouds again here at Kwong Road, and that temperature will be dialing up out in the middle there. Fantastic bit of running between the wickets as it's just dabbed towards point and Ruchi calls her through for the single. So great bit of running between the wickets. And Ruchi showed that she She batted with Mariko in the Women's League final. Their running between the wickets was phenomenal, much like it was at the start of this innings. So if she can look to replicate what she did in that game with her partner Shanzine, that would be fantastic. But Shanzine, having faced 35 balls, will be getting hot out there under a helmet, and a really big test of her fitness and stamina. That's short and pulled, and just the one run with the deep square leg out there protecting the boundary. We've also got quite the gallery of media and cameras around the ground, with media from around Hong Kong coming in to follow the Women's Premier League. It's great to get such fantastic coverage of women's cricket in Hong Kong, and expect to see that hopefully in the papers tomorrow. That one's tossed up by Chansahar and just defended into the offside by Shanzine.
I think the introduction of this Premier League, both the longer form and this shorter form for this current season, has done a lot in promoting women's cricket. Oh, and that's been lofted up and gone over mid-on's head there, and they've gotten through for 2. So nice shot there, good use of the feet. Thought it may have been going straight at Jasmine Titmus there for a moment, but seemed to have just gotten over her head. Yeah, I think, as I was saying, the introduction of this Premier League has been a great initiative by Cricket Hong Kong, and has done a lot in promoting women's cricket in the news. We've seen a number of newspapers and TV providing full toss there. Full toss, and that's been hit away. Full toss, and that's been hit away behind square leg for a 4. So lovely shot there by Shaz. Oh, and it's been called a no ball.
Here we go, free hit time, first one of the day.
Is this for Shaz's first free hit for about 9 months? After all that.
So will we see something interesting on this free hit? Will we see another attempt at a reverse sweep? Will we see her dancing down the pitch? What are we going to see?
Sweep shot.
Sweep shot. Straight to the short fine leg there. So no run.
Yeah, some really good intent shown by Shaz this over. That shot over mid-on, fantastic, and
And another full toss.
can she beat the boundary fielder? She can't. Straight into the hands of Mariko, so just the one run there.
So a little bit loose towards the end of that over by Chansahar. A little bit loose there towards the end of that over. Chansahar kind of losing her length a little bit.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see whether therefore she has a break now, or whether they continue with her. Let's wait and see after this over from Katie Gibbons. Continuing with Katie, seems to be bowling okay at this time, so Captain Jasmine has kept her confidence in Katie and continuing with her on.
Yeah, Chansahar, just going back to her over, there's a lot of flight and just going too much and getting those full tosses. So if she's able to get back to her old ways of bowling a little bit flatter into the wicket a little bit more, that's when you start really challenging those the batsmen to make a decision about how they're going to go about playing you. As we see Katie come in again. Really good intent from Shaz there, just to step across and play the sweep, but unfortunately picking out the fielder and Rajveer at square leg.
Better ball there by Katie, but still going down to the leg side. So batsmen really not confident in hitting through the offside and trying to get all of their runs through that leg side.
Yeah, and usually any other day of the week that would rush away for 4, but this slow outfield. Not to be, but just get the impression that quick single and
Single,
fumble it
it's come off.
mid-off, and great call there by Ruchi, understanding that she was running to the danger end. It's got to be a strong and impressive throw to throw from mid-on all the way to the keeper and beat the batsman running through. I get the impression, just looking at Shaz, she's beginning to really feel the effects of the heat and the long innings she's played here. She's been out there for 42 balls now for her 29 runs, and what is incredibly hot temperatures. We're in the early 30s, but out there I'm sure it'll be feeling like it's in the 40s. The current temperature on my weather app telling me that it feels like 39 degrees, so you can almost guarantee it feels even hotter out there in the middle of the field.
We are seeing quite a lot of cloud cover coming over and passing by quite quickly, which is good that it's passing by, but it does make it very humid out there to have that thick cloud cover coming across. As we said, thunderstorm warnings across Hong Kong. I did do a check to make sure that there was no rain in the area, and looks like we should be clear from a rain perspective. Doesn't stop the clouds coming across. That one just going down leg side, and to keep a Lemon Chung not able to get across and stop that one. So a wide with a bye on it.
Yeah, interesting. And these two have Ruchi's started picking up the last couple of balls, some really good running between the wickets, but look, I think Shaz would be wishing that the groundsman had cut this outfield, because that running in this heat is not going to be easy.
And she's come down the crease to that one. Oh, and lofted it up to cover one of the strongest fielders we've got, being Pluto, who's taken multiple catches in previous games, and she's put that one down. Shaz nearly got run out in the process because she had given up, thinking that she was already out and was standing in the middle of the pitch at the time that the ball hit the ground.
Yeah, that's very unlike Pulto, and it'll be interesting to see if that's going to cost the team much in the way of runs, and look like a bit of a shot of fatigue from Shanzine, and you can hear her teammates knowing how important her innings and her continuing is, willing her on to stay out there and keep working hard for them and putting runs on the board.
I've just brought some water out. Everybody identifying that, she is starting to feel the effects of the heat, so a little bit of water, maybe a bit of a pep talk. Keep working hard, you'll be fine. We're going to change bowling again, so bringing Mariko Hill back on from the soft ball end. Just not quite sure whether they're having their third man inside or outside the circle. They have just brought her back inside the circle. So deep out for Mariko now is the fine leg and square leg. So whether we continue to see some short balls from Mariko. Well bowled and well played there by Shaz. Just got the bat down in time for that one.
Yeah, Mariko with some impressive figures thus far, just going for the 5 runs off her 2 overs prior to this. She goes short and cut away through the offside. Lovely shot as the team wills it through.
Oh, and I think that we're not sure there whether Chansaha has saved that or...
And it's been signalled for. Cracking shot.
Lovely shot. Great to see a cut shot, my favourite. Good to see that going through the field and actually making it all the way to the boundary with this long boundary on that side of the ground, and also, as we've talked about, the very thick outfield. Oh, and then she's just played at that one, and it's coming down towards us in the commentary box here at third man. We've just gone for the single though.
Yeah, and her running between the wickets just seems to be slowing up a bit. earlier in the innings. I think that would have been 2 runs. And again, the outfield claims another victim where it almost certainly would have been 4 previously. Nice full ball and respected by Ruchi. Really nice delivery there, challenging the stumps.
A little bit of a discussion here between the batsmen. Probably thinking, what do we want to do of this next couple of balls, Mariko? She'd had a couple of overs that were very tight, and then this one's gone for 5 already off 3 balls. So, and they've just angled off Ruchi's hip there, down to square leg for a single. So the batsman now really thinking about the strategic side of things and how can we get into Mariko's mind and get some of those loose balls coming at us. Again, just using the angle of Mariko's ball there, it was just coming down onto the leg stump, and Shaz has gotten a little edge on that. Down to fine leg for a single. So good over there by the Bauhinia Stars.
Yeah, I like the intent from Mariko to try and attack those stumps a little bit more, just not quite able to get the line right, but that is the way you're going to break this partnership, and if you do that, that's going to make life very difficult for the Stars to carry on as they move towards the last 5 overs of the innings. Wasp currently predicting a final score of 105. I think that'll require quite a bit of work to achieve that, but would be a good result from the early wickets that fell, and a great recovery by this partnership here. Based on the current run rate, they'll be lined up to score 89 as a total, so the Stars will definitely be hoping to go at just over 6 and over now to get that score above 100.
I think the key really will be this partnership. If these two can stay in there for another few overs. Lovely footwork there by Shaz to get that through the infield, but just the single again. These two do look comfortable batting together, so hopefully we can see them there for another few overs yet. Maybe they can lift that run rate up over the 6 and over.
That's wide outside off, and the umpire extends his arms.
Just angling down onto the legs of Ruchi, and she's able to just dab it away onto the leg side.
Yeah, really got a bit of cricket there from the two batsmen at the crease here, where Ruchi deliberately sort of stepped across, dropped it into the leg side just behind square there, and really good understanding of each other that's what they're looking for, and took a quick single with ease. So it's short and wide and cut away. As we talk about that communication, there was a little bit of a look and a stare without much of a call, but they ran through easily as Shanzine lifts her head, and tiring I think out there, but her team cheering her on and willing her to keep going for the sake of their final score.
And the point fielder out there is actually quite deep, so whilst it was hit hard to point, we have talked about Chansahara as being one of the stronger fielders in this team. She's reasonably deep, so still did take some time, and they've gone for that run again, and Ruchi's needing to round her back pretty quickly, but there is that single there because of where she's standing. She could potentially come in a couple of metres.
Yeah, great bit of running between the wickets, and I think that's been the standout really for the Bauhinia Stars, is their ability to run between the wickets and capitalise on just about every run that is there to be taken. And if they hadn't have done that, then the scorecard would look very, very different indeed. As we enter the last 4 overs, and Bauhinia Stars now done a really good job to get themselves, particularly through this partnership, get themselves into a position where they've got 6 wickets in hand coming into the last 4 overs, and you know, despite the outfield, hopefully they're able to play with a bit more freedom and strategically look to score runs and hit boundaries. So Mariko bowls full and hits the pad, but I'd be interested to look at that replay because the angle just looked like it might have been sliding down leg. So let's see if Nitesh, our production manager, can give us a slow-mo replay and we can all at home make a decision. What's the story, Nitesh? Can we get a slow-mo? We're going to try and get a slow-mo replay for you. Oh, you're teasing us, Nitesh.
We just had a bit of a glitch in our replay here on our screen, and I think
It's alright, I've got a little backup screen, Tracy. I've not told you about this, but hopefully we can have a little bit of a glance and analyse and do what commentators do, but whatever we do, it's not going to affect the scorecard, and that's a wicket.
yes. Just looking at the incoming batsman here. I think it is Amanda Chul. So, yeah, it does look like Amanda. So, she's coming in probably about the same position she comes in her club at HKCC Willow Wilders. Again, introducing that left hand, right hand batting combination. Makes the captain think again for the last couple of overs. Amanda is used a little bit as a pinch hitter in matches. Comes in at the pointy end of the innings, expected to swing her bat at it as much as possible. And she gets off the mark first ball, so well played there to step across and get bat on that. In that break when the wicket fell, we did see Shaz getting a little bit of attention there, just stretching out the hips. So hopefully she's not carrying an injury at all, and that she's just struggling a bit with the heat rather than there being any major injury there.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see the Jade Jets come out as Mariko goes short, just down for 1 run to Tammy. How they get on getting into the batting innings after spending, the best part of an hour and a bit out in the sun, plus their warm-ups on top of that. It's not easy to have that quick turnaround and put on your helmet and your pads and your cricket equipment, and the running between the wickets that this ground is requiring from the batting side.
I was just checking the team sheet there as well to see whether Shaz was going to be doing the keeping today, because if she's been batting out there for so long, to then come out and keep would be a real struggle for her. But luckily Jen Davies is in the team for the Bauhinia Stars today, and she'll be taking the keeping duties for this afternoon. Hopefully Shaz can find a little corner of shade when she's out there fielding and be able to relax a little bit. We'll wait and see. If they do have somebody in slips when they come in to bat, I'd expect that Shaz will take that position, so hopefully she doesn't have to do too much running. So a couple of good balls there from Mariko. Dot balls. Amanda not able to get any runs off those.
Yeah, Mariko bowling her 4th and final over.
call there by Shaz, yes, and then she was sent back quite quickly. Ball was hit directly to Kinu. So the interesting thing will be who will bowl the last 2 overs. I'm assuming it will be Betty and Jasmine, who opened the bowling. So good finish there by Mariko. Well bowled. A lot of short balls we saw from Mariko, but they just weren't capitalised on the way that we would expect. So she's probably a bit lucky there with her bowling today, but she did bowl well with the 3 wickets. So good to see not so many wides from Mariko today, because she has really struggled with her direction a little bit earlier in the season. So here comes Captain Jasmine coming back on from the police station end, or the commentary end. This is where we're sitting and looking over her shoulder. Okay, so a number of field changes happening. Tweaks rather than major changes. We're actually keeping everybody in the circle. So we've got a short third man, short square leg, mid wicket and mid on.
Oh, that's
and
looking good.
She's given, and that's been given. So very full there, hitting Shaz on the pads, very low down, and Jasmine gets her first wicket.
Yeah, again, just reinforcing what we spoke about at the start of the day, Tracy, that if you're bowling at those stumps and attacking the stumps, you're putting yourself right in the shot window to take wickets, and if you're not doing that, it's almost certainly going to be very difficult for the batsman to score, and that was the case there. But it doesn't take anything away from what was a fantastic innings by Shaz, who has been out of action, out of training for quite some time, having travelled overseas and then going through the quarantine system that you go through in this day and age in this world, but an impressive innings. So she'll be hoping that over the next 3 overs her fellow teammates can go out there and help put some runs on the board to give them a competitive total to work hard to defend.
So coming into the crease is Anna Mahmood. She played just one of the earlier series, and it was the last match, and I think surprised us all by making some runs there. I hadn't seen much of Anna play before that game, and she really did. I think she ended up with a 16 or 18 fairly late in the piece as well, so let's see how she goes.
Jasmine slides down the leg side, and some bonus runs for the Bauhinia Stars. Just a little score update from around the grounds. The HKCC Wanderers now 73 for 3 after 16 overs, trying to chase down 183 in essentially a relegation battle match.
Well bowled there by Jasmine, good line, good length, and just a straight drive there from Anna. Again, another good ball, not able to get away for a run. So 2 new batsmen at the crease now. It'll be interesting to see who takes the leadership role out there and determines how they're going to make some runs off these last 2.5 overs.
Yeah, and they've lost a lot of experience in those last 2 wickets. And when you're coming into this death phase and you've got 2 inexperienced batsmen, you really don't want to be giving away freebies there, and they're just costly runs.
You could see there with Jasmine, throwing the head back, going, "Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, what was that?"
Unforced error.
That's a better ball. So again, her line her length very good for those dot balls, and then just seems to have the occasional loose ones. Needs to refocus each ball, make sure that she's putting it on the spot she wants. An appeal by the team, but no interest from Jasmine there, so
Yep, and just reinforcing that you bowl full and straight. It's not going to be easy to get away, especially if you're the new batsman coming to the crease. So Jasmine will be looking to close out this over. Looks like it might have been a little bit of a slower ball there, and that concludes the 18th over, 77 for 6.
So it looks like Betty coming on for her last over, and then Jasmine will close it out with the 20th over. A couple of players out there without the ability to have a bowl today. Tammy Chu, Kulto, them potentially being saved for the batting. Also, I guess Jasmine had them up her sleeve just in case one of her main strike bowlers didn't have the day that they were expecting, so that she could make a change. But didn't need that today, as all of the bowlers seem to have had fairly tidy spells. Let's see what Betty does with her last over. Oh, and pitch that right up, missed by Amanda, and the bail has come off the off stump.
And as we said, Tracy, full and straight, and that one was, and Amanda looking to go for a sweep shot, and unsuccessfully. That brings Dorothea to the crease, who is very active, will be looking to score runs, is pretty clear of what she's going to be going out there to try and achieve. Can she do that against the slow off spin of Betty Chan?
Does bring some experience in as well though. So Dorothea is the captain of her club team, CCC, and has really grown in that role this year. She's taken that on from Carrie Chan, and she really does think a lot about the game, analyses what the situation is each time, really is, I would say, a scholar of the game of cricket, and so good for her to be going out there at this point in time to be, doing the head and shoulders piece of the last couple of overs. Hopefully
Yeah.
she'll be able to push it around for some runs as well. Having her out there with Annan, who is a relatively young player, I think it would be good for her to take the leadership role.
You should have to put commentators first, I think.
There's a bit of concern here in the scorer's tent that there might be a bit of commentator's curse.
Oh, and she's looked for
And there
that
was
one
commentator's
straight
curse. Tracy, you can... I tell you what,
up. Okay.
Dorothea might be having a word for you at the end of the game when she listens back on this commentary, as the commentator's curse was absolutely 100% struck there.
And I do know that Dorothea will listen to and she'll watch the replay,
Wow,
and she'll
this-
be analysing everything.
Well, now's your chance to apologise, Tracy.
So I do apologise, Dorothea. Not quite a single there in that one, so I think her thought process was, let's try and get some singles, but actually probably not the option to take on that appearance.
Yeah.
So does bring Alison Sue into the crease. Alison is the vice captain of the Willow Wielders.
Yeah, and very experienced, has played a lot of cricket herself, so
So now
always
it's your
a-
turn to put the commentator's curse on.
it's always a tough situation to come into, and I won't say anything. I'll let Alison's actions speak for themselves.
I expect Ellison will be opening the bowling for the Bauhinia Stars later today. but can hold the bat as well. Well played there.
At the current scoring rate that they're going, the final score would be on track to be 84 with a Wasp prediction of 86. So I think they'll just be hopeful they can maximise that, as Ellison gives herself a bit of room but unable to pierce that fortress of a offside field.
Yeah, the offside here is short third man, point, cover, extra cover, mid on. Quite difficult to get through that with three of the strongest fielders sitting in that point, extra cover and cover position. So pretty difficult to get anything through there.
There's a running and
Rolled through for the run there, which is
I'm very
good
quick
pressure.
between the wickets. Yeah, it's interesting the approach there through taking on Betty with, you know, the Jade Jets have been incredibly aggressive. They had the whole field up and deep square leg, deep mid wicket and even long on, all vacant. And if you're able to try and free your arms and hit over that area, there's runs to be had. And, you know, no one seemed to show the intent to try and maybe go across the crease and look to hit through or over into the leg side area, which tends to be the most productive scoring area and easiest to get power into your shots, and just haven't seen that intent. And the same goes for this over, third man and final leg up. The Jade Jets looking like they're really attacking and they're almost in a power play phase, and these two at the crease are able to try and hit it through that mid wicket area and capitalise on that field being so close and up. So they squirts out to the leg side for one run.
Very good running though. Adam pulled nice and clear and early for that one, and confident running to the danger end.
And this is where you might see, you know, that tactic that Emma used earlier in the innings, when she got out earlier, of going across your stumps and then looking to hit the leg side or
Again, they've gone
hit over fine leg, and exactly there, worked onto the leg side and great running between the wickets. But that intent to go across your stumps, if it's a little bit short, you can hit over square leg or over fine leg, and if it's full, try and hit over mid wicket or long on. It's got to be the area to try and focus on. As I say that, it's just over cover and they're going to come back for two.
That one just a little bit wide for Jasmine, and Allison's taken the opportunity to have a good hard swing at that. Good with the infield. So that has actually caused them to put one of those fielders back. So immediate change in the field based on that shot. Oh, not sure where that actually went. I think she's got a little bit on that, and it kind of went between the batsman and the leg stump, I think.
2 balls left in the innings. Bauhinia Stars will be trying to get whatever they can to up their score, which, you know, is probably a bit below par really, even with the slow outfield. So it's just
Sounds right.
headed to mid wicket. What's that?
No, that's alright. It were in the last 2 balls and we called them wide. Got to go for everything.
Alright, so here comes the last ball of the innings. Let's see whether we can see a big shot.
2, 3 hits.
Just gone for the little edge there to a short third man.
Oh, there might be overthrows. So they're going to run back. Well, that's a bonus run.
Oh,
Oh,
no!
I'll tell you what, it's
And
not.
actually
There's a
it's
direct
not.
hit by Kinu.
Well, that was all action. So, little edge to short third man, overthrow by Katie Gibbons there. Went for the second run. Kinu has come back thrown at the bowler's end and just got the slightest little tickle on the stumps there to get the
Yeah,
run
I'm
out.
interested to see here whether Annam should have been sliding her bat.
I think she was well short, but let's have a look at them.
Yeah, well
Yeah.
short by the looks of things, but
But from a technique perspective, she probably should have been sliding her bat at that point in time.
awareness on the fact that could have been an overthrow.
Yeah.
No awareness.
So, score ends up then 84?
3.
83 for 9 after the 20 overs. So, 84 to win.
yeah, and what you'd say is a below par score despite the slow outfield, and Bauhinia Stars did reasonably well with that good partnership with Rucci and Shanzine to get them into the last 5 with wickets in hand, but unable to capitalise on that. So 84 to win. Watch this space. If there's a couple of early wickets and the big wicket of Marico Hill is taken, then the game will be all on. So before we sign off for a few minutes, and I'll just give you a score update from around the grounds in Hong Kong, with the HKCC Wanderers chasing the Infidels 183. The Wanderers are now 78 for 5 after 18 overs, and they're under a lot of pressure in what is essentially a relegation game. The team that wins this match will avoid relegation, and the team that loses, well, there'll be a lot of pressure on their match, on their final match of the season this coming Sunday. So stay tuned, we'll keep giving you score updates. While we wait for this second innings to start, feel free to stay tuned and we'll keep the stream rolling. And welcome back to Kwong Road Recreation Ground here in Hong Kong, and what is a very, very hot day today. Currently at about 33 degrees. I'll just ask the guys in the background to be quiet while I... There we go, we've got some chatter in the background as people are arguing who's going to have the last lunchbox. As I pick up where I left off, it's an absolutely scorching day here today in Hong Kong. It's currently about 34 degrees, but probably feels like 40 degrees out there in the middle. And if you missed the first innings, the Bauhinia Stars, after a few hiccups earlier in the innings, managed to get their way through to 83 for 9. So the Jade Jets, after their 20 overs out in the sun, will be chasing down 84 for victory. The ground here, the outfield hasn't been cut for some time by the looks, so you won't be seeing too many balls go over the rope unless they're struck incredibly hard. So it's going to be a test for the batting side to make sure that they're running between the wickets incredibly hard. You can expect Kerry Chan's Bauhinia Stars to be working incredibly hard out in the field, and bowlers will need to be targeting the stumps to make sure that they're challenging the batsmen to go out and score the runs with no freebies, no short bowling. And if you see that happen, this Jade Jets lineup is very, very capable as a batting unit, and they will be very quick to pounce on any loose, short and wide bowling. I'm joined here with Tracy Walker, who was here with me for the first innings. So Tracy, looking forward to the second innings, and if anything tells us about our history of watching cricket, anything could happen.
I think that's right, Mark. Anything could happen here. I think the Bauhinia Stars need to bowl well right from the onset. And it'll be interesting to see what the batting lineup is from the Jade Jets. It seems to be Pulto and Mariko Hill coming out to open the batting. Reasonably strong, both of them there. So they need to be getting wickets, and getting wickets early on. I'll just run through the teams again, so just in case you're new to the stream. So the Bauhinia Stars out there in the field at the moment, captained by Kerry Chan, who is also the captain of Cricket Hong Kong, and vice captain Mariam Bibi. We saw some amazing bowling from Mariam in one of our previous matches. And then the rest of the team, Shanzin Shazad, Jennifer Davies, Alison Sue, Amanda Chung, Anam Ahmed, Dorothea Chan, Emma Lai, Maheen Haidar and Richard Venkatesh. For the Jade Jets, captained by Jasmine Titmus, vice captain Mariko Hill, who's opening out there, and then we've got Lemon Chung, Betty Chan, Chan Sahar, Katie Gibbons, Kinu Gill, Paul To, Rajveer Kaur, Tammy Chu and Tinez Kabari. So ready to go for the first over, we've got Alison Sue bowling to Paul To, with Jennifer Davies in the wicket keeping.
Short and pulled away. Well, that's not the start you want for the Bauhinia Stars, and that was absolutely crushed by Pulto and got the treatment it deserved. Certainly not the way Alison would have been hoping to start, so she'll be looking to rectify that quickly. She gets some great outswing, and if she's able to get that ball full and challenging off stump, you can expect to see her challenge those batsmen and pick up some wickets, but she can't afford to bowl there, especially with no protection out there on the leg side.
Yeah, we've got two fielders on the leg side, one at mid-wicket and one at mid-on. And that is all from leg side field. So really expecting that Alison is going to be pitching it outside off and looking for a number of catching positions to be coming into play on the offside.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this decision by Alison to bowl round the wicket to the right hand. He essentially remove a lot of possible modes of dismissal as his cries as it beats the outside of edge of Pulto. You're really looking only at a court somewhere when you're bowling on that angle. It's going to be very difficult to get a bowl. LBW is out of the question with you swinging the ball away. So you're really looking at just the single dismissal option. And I just wonder with this 7-2 field, with all of these 7 fielders on the offside, you kind of lose confidence sometimes as a bowler to attack the stumps, particularly if you're bowling that over the wicket line. And I wonder whether that's played a part here in terms of bowling round the wicket to try and make sure she's bowling outside off. But as we all know, commentators don't know everything, and it'll probably work out for the best. Take an outside edge and the keeper will take a screamer and we'll look a little bit silly. But tactically I'm just not too sure, especially with Pulto's strength being anything wide outside off. As we see there, she's threaded a very small gap as 4 people converge on the ball. And just the 1 run taken. Yeah,
No, 2 runs taken.
2 runs taken, sorry. Yeah, I just think that's Pulto's strength, wide outside off, whether it's short or full. And really what should be done is coming over that wicket, which is the traditional way to bowl by right arm over bowler, traditional, typical for Allison as well. And then looking to really hunt in on that off stump, or even bowl onto that middle stump line with someone like Pulto. As we see, coming into the second over, we've got Kerry Chan coming into bowl, and Mariko Hill will be facing her first ball.
Carrie is going with the protection, deep square leg, and also a deep point by the looks of things. Umpire just making sure that her hat's in the right position with the COVID restrictions at the moment. The umpire cannot be holding the hat placed on the ground. Good start by Carrie.
I think a big thing here for Carrie is making sure that she's not floating that ball up too much. She's still looking to bowl that ball into the wicket a little bit and turn. Just like that.
Like that one.
Really good ball that.
Mariko really unsure what to do.
Sort of that very close to the perfect length, possibly a tad short, but challenges the batsman on whether they're going to go forward or go back. That one unfortunately short and wide, and lovely shot by Mariko, and that's cut in front of point through the covers for 4.
So quite a loose one there by Carrie, so she'll be disappointed with that. She is going to make some slight adjustments so that deep point that we talked about is now moving around to a deep cover. So a little bit more protection wide and outside. So a much better ball there. Interestingly, Carrie, when she's bowling, she seems to have 2 quite separate thought processes. The first one being to flight it up, and the second one, which is that one, more of a dart, quicker ball into the pitch, looking to catch the batsman unawares. And that one, when she does bowl it faster into the pitch, she does actually look to go direct at the stumps. So it just changes the line of it when she does that. Some quick running between the wickets there. Good ball by Mariko. Running to the danger end. So after 2 overs, we've got the Jade Jets on 12. So well above their required run rate at the moment, but after 2 overs, I guess there's anything can happen from here on. So
Yeah, well, as we said at the start of the innings, it was just a big thing about if you execute and you bowl in a good area, you're going to put yourself in the shop window, and unfortunately, thus far the Bauhinia Stars haven't been able to execute, and as a result we've seen a bowling change straight away with Marianne Bibby coming on for her first over with some bright orange shoes there, or electric highlighter yellow I should say. She bowls a little bit short and wide and gets away with it for her first fall.
We did see Marianne bowl extremely well in the 35 over series. I can't recall whether it was the second match or the third match, but she ended up with 5 wickets and a hat-trick.
Yeah.
So the second match, really amazing bowling. She was really, everybody was struggling to get her away. So hopefully we can see a bit of that from her today.
Oh, that's a fantastic delivery, and like we said, probably over pitched, but we constantly speak about it. If you're going fuller rather than shorter and you're attacking those stumps, and Marianne's got the ability to swing the ball, you're really going to start challenging the batsman. That one just a bit too short and pulled away into the leg side for 1 run.
We did mention earlier that Marianne did play in the under-19 finals earlier today, so this is her second match out there for the day. Very talented and young player. A little bit short there, and Mariko loves it in that space. She will pull that away for 4 any time, so can't be bowling short to Mariko. She's in quite good form at the moment with the finals of the club, the league matches. Mariko scoring, it was 42 in that game.
Yeah.
Never looked like she was going to get out, so the short balls are definitely going to be dispatched.
Yeah, no, fantastic shot there. Just picking up on that slightly shorter length and dispatching it with conviction. Short again as Mariko just waited a little bit longer for it. She's not going to pick up 4 this time, but scurries back for the second. Yeah, with Mariko in form like she is, you just cannot afford to bowl short. You'd much rather, as a captain and a coach, see some of these players driven through the covers or driven down the ground. But when you see the likes of Pulto and Mariko getting the freedom to play these horizontal and crossbat shots fairly risk-free, then it's going to make your life very, very difficult to try and contain the runs and take wickets. So Carrie will be looking to lead from the front here and put together a really nice consistent set of 6 balls that's going to challenge the batsman, challenge that off stump.
That one is driven there through mid-on. I think it's going to pull up in the outfield, so just the 2 runs.
Yeah, lovely shot and deserved 4, but this outfield has had its say yet again, and just the 2 runs in the end. Mariko actually placing herself quite well there in the line of sight of Rucci. Not so easy for her at mid-on to see what's happening or whether the ball's coming to her, as it's cut out point, and just everything just seemed to happen in slow motion there, in terms of the fielders looking at the ball and the batsman looking at the ball, and someone eventually pressed play and a run was taken.
It was quite unusual. And we were both silent as well, so must have been something that came over the ground.
Worked in the leg side for one, and we spoke in the first innings about really good running between the wickets, and these two have started off well. They've read the field, their experience has allowed them to read the field, where fielders are, and see that quite a few people are standing a little bit deeper on their heels, and they're making the most of that. Bowls at full, and it's defended by Pulto. Short, and Pulto's given herself room and only able to capitalise on the one run there. Just all looking a little bit too easy at the moment, isn't it, Tracy?
Yeah, it just looked like the batsmen are able to get through the field, whereas in the previous innings we were seeing that going straight to the fielder. They're actually positioning the ball very well. One a little bit full, and Rico has hit that through mid-wicket, but it has pulled up, chased by Dorothea, and 2 runs.
Yeah, Mariko pulling out her shot, the sweep and slog sweep. Very productive scoring shot for her. The Bauhinia Stars will be looking to someone to take control, and as we see other bowling change, I think Allison back on.
Interesting. Maybe
And again looking to come around the wicket, so really interesting tactics here.
it's unusual to see change of bowlers over after over, right? So are they trying to play with the minds of the batsmen, trying to confuse them as to who's coming in, not letting them get comfortable? Are they trying to maybe give their bowlers a bit of a break in this heat? It's interesting to understand what the tactic might be. Comes Allison into Pulto.
Short and wide, and Pulto's missed out there.
Yeah, she didn't seem to move her body towards it at all. Just tried to throw the hands at it and hope that she hit.
Yeah, some loud chants and yells of encouragement from Bauhinia's team to try and ensure that they're working together and they're focused, as that one's quite wide outside off again. That angle just taking it away from Pulto. No runs scored.
Coming across the batsman there. I think she's questioning whether that should have been a bit wide, but actually I think it is just the angle around the wicket. Maybe playing on the height of Pulto. She's quite short in stature, so maybe her reach isn't as wide as she would like it to be. Oh, and that one's more focused in on the wickets, and it pops up, but no one else can get there. So keeper, bowler, all came in on that, but unfortunately couldn't get to that.
Yeah, luck on Pulto's side there as that just pops up, but not going far enough for anyone to get their mitts on it. Short. This time cut away with a hand on it though. That's definitely saved one, if not 2 runs, and some great backing up by Dorothea to pull in a strong throw from the outfield. We see a field change, and again, interesting field change, long off going back, and I've not seen the ball go out there, deep cover going back. Oh, there we go, a change, long off coming up, and the deep cover going out. It seems to
Makes a bit more sense.
makes a lot more sense with the angle that's been bowled here. Bit of protection through the offside. Erico not able to hit that cover sweeper, and that brings it close to the over. Jade Jets are 27 without loss after 5 overs. Racing along towards this total and their target score of 84 to win the match. And going around the grounds, just touching base again with the battle to avoid relegation, chasing the KCC Infidels 183 all out. The HKCC Wanderers are forming a bit of a partnership and are 103 for 5 after 25, just over halfway mark there. So needing another 81 runs off 25 overs to win that match and avoid relegation. Watch that space, there's still a twist and a turn yet to happen to see what happens in that game. A long way left in that match. So we see a bowling change, and Ruchita Venkatash that's going to come on from the police station end to pull toe. Ruchi will be bowling a right arm over off spin.
So this is an interesting change here. I think Richie has been seen as the wicket taker throughout the regular league. It's taken, I think it was 5 for 17. That was a bit short, that one, and dealt with by pull toe, but it's gone out to the sweeper there and misfielded a little bit, which allowed the easy 2.
Fumble out on the boundary, and
Batsmen were really thinking about whether there was 2 in that or not, but the fumble allowed them to take that second.
very good throw from the fielder on the boundary though. Who's that out? Huh? Anna.
It's well bowled by Richie, much better at that length. We should mention, just in case people are new to this Premier League, so these players play in a regular league that's lofted up to mid-on and direct hit, but is not out, so good hustling there by pull toe. Great fielding there and mid-on by Miriam. So yes, should just mention that these individuals do play in regular club cricket in the Division 1 of the Hong Kong Cricket League. And big appeal for caught behind there. I think maybe
Sounded like it might have just been the bat hitting the ground.
bit of action here, so I'll have to come back about my story about where they will play. Wait until the end of this over. Oh, and that one's wide outside leg, and Mariko has gotten onto that, but it's going to pull up before the boundary and gone for 2 runs.
Yeah, the slow outfield strikes again, and Ruchi just sliding down the leg side and right into Mariko's hitting zone. He's very strong on the sweep shot.
Okay, so we do have a regular league here in Hong Kong at Division 1 and Division 2. All of these players do play in the Division 1 teams. So it's across 4 different teams. The Hong Kong Cricket Club, the Kowloon Cricket Club, the Krakengower Cricket Club, and the Dzakwa Little Saiwan Cricket Club. So those 4 teams basically play off against each other in a T20 competition. And this year the league was won by the HKCC Willow Wielders against the Kowloon Cricket Club team. And this is basically the best of all of those have been put into 2 separate squads, selected by the national coach to be able to have a Premier League competition here as a T20 Earlier in the year we did play 2 35 over matches and a 40 over match with these same squads. So this is the first of the T20 competition with these two all-stars sides being the Bauhinia Stars and the Jade Jets. In comes Ellison again, round the wicket, and that one is just adjudged to be a little bit too wide.
Yeah, this time she's just gone a bit too wide, and Fulto still not able to capitalise. It's her bread and butter shot, but not able to latch onto it yet. And I'm just willing Ellison to come over the wicket and get her to start shaping that ball away and targeting the off stump and bringing bold and LBW as possible dismissals, as that's short and into the vacant square leg region. Dorothea with a very quick turn of pace and able to get that ball back in quickly, but not fast enough to stop it from going for 2 runs. Oh, she's heard my call. Looks like she might be moving to over the wicket. I promise I didn't say it that loud, but word must have got through. So let's see how Ellison can go here as she comes over the wicket. Good start.
Very good line as first ball.
Over pitch slightly, but again much better challenging the stumps and challenging the batsman.
So that change in direction has kind of confused Puto a little bit, I think. You're normally right onto something that's available there to be cut, and she kind of struggled with that one. A little bit of a miss hit, no run. That one she's gotten onto nicely, but there's a big call from Mariko for a yes, and they were almost both down one end. Mariko had to make it all the way back. Lucky that the throw wasn't closer.
Yeah, Mariko, much like the first innings, particularly with Shanzine backing up a long way, and something that I actually really like to see. It means that the non-strikers there are very ready to call through for a single. Just got to make sure that your communication's clear and you're not ball watching. As Ellison just goes short and a little bit wide again, and the umpire extends his arms. And just a little update from around the grounds. The Wanderers have just lost a wicket and are now 108 for 6, chasing 183. So that game, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top and avoids relegation.
Oh, and there's an appeal there for stumped. Jen Davies very quick behind the wickets there, but umpire is giving it the shake of the head.
Well, I tell you what, the keeper and me would have asked for that to be gone upstairs, because there's a little shift of the foot. I think that's fair enough to assume that the umpire might not be able to tell if that's in or out, but you'd certainly, if you have the opportunity to take that upstairs.
Unfortunately, our cameras are not side on to the wicket, so we weren't able to actually confirm that one, but it would be interesting to take a look at.
And Wakas Barkat, the head coach at KCC, is tuning in with the Hong Kong men's coach, Trent Johnston, multitasking as they watch the Wanderers Infidels game, which is going through all sorts of twists and turns and battling through to see who can avoid relegation. And they've got themselves tuning into the Women's Premier League match 1 of the T20 series.
So just a bit of discussion here. I thought that was just a run in with a dead ball. So sounds like maybe sometimes my voice is not strong enough. I'm sure my 10-year-old tells me that I'm way too loud. and then all the time. So I'm trying to be nice whilst commentating, but I will make sure that I'm speaking up loud enough so that you can hear what I'm saying. Oh, so the confusion there was they pulled up Alison for that last ball to confirm that it was actually the end of the over and that she didn't have any balls left. So we're now moving back on to the next over, which is Richie coming in again. Her warm-up has just gone well over the head of her fielder. So looks like she's got more power than what she thought she did. And as the sun is coming back out again, and seems like we're going to have another 10 minutes of direct hot sunlight out there. I'm pretty glad that we've actually got these covers over us so that we're not out in the heat as well. Okay, so that one just hooked on to the square leg, the throw at the non-striker's end, but she's safe and the throw was wide. You know, one thing we haven't heard today is the bird that normally does a call when we're sitting out here.
Oh, the endangered Kaitak Korkor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any like we normally do from this ground.
Yeah, very unusual. I believe head coach Trent Johnston was playing out here last week and hitting quite a lot of maximums into the trees and perhaps knocked out the old Kaitak Korkor out of the tree, and we now don't have our resident supporter in the trees, unfortunately. So TJ, I'm not sure whether to thank you or cry about the loss of the Kaitak Korkor, as there's a big appeal and sliding down leg.
Big appeal by the team, but the bowler was not interested there, so they really need a wicket here, the Bauhinia Stars. There we go. I've helped them out this time.
There you
so,
go. You've
Bauhinia Stars, you can thank me for that one. I said they really need the wicket, and we see Pulto dancing down the pitch, missing the ball and bowled. So very good turn of flight there from Richie to be able to get Pulto out.
Yeah, lovely delivery there. It had a little bit of drift and turn and everything that you want from your off-spin bowler, and lovely delivery and a little bit of a breakthrough. Not enough to get the Bauhinia Stars feeling like they're on top, but it's something to work with as Pulto departs for 19 off her 33, and that brings in the very experienced Kinu Gill to the crease, who, unlike Mirako, will play probably more of an anchor's role. And if you can make sure you bowl in good areas, she'll respect that and take her time to get into the innings. So the challenge is with the Bauhinia Stars to make sure that they're bowling in those consistent areas, and anytime they get an opportunity they've got to make sure they can take it.
Yes, and I think getting a wicket is always a positive. The negative is when you see someone like Kinu Gill coming in. So both Kino and Mariko are number 1 and 2 with the batting averages and aggregate for the league competition. So this is the best quality batting you will see as these two ladies together. So Bauhinia Stars really need to keep the pressure on now with Kino before she gets settled in. And Richie has started well with a tough ball there to get away. And you're right, Kino will push things around. And then definitely punish the bad ball.
Yeah, Ruchi with her field set, having a 5-4 offside field, and with her trying to attack the stumps and what looks like some reasonable turn out there. Might be something to look at depending on what line she wants to bowl, whether she can bring another one through and just strengthen up that little area behind square on the 45 and try and really cut out that single ball, which seems to just be a little bit too easy for the Jade Jets to come by. Either that or she just needs to shift that line a little bit, like that ball that she got pulled toe out with, pitching outside off and turning in to hit middle and off stump.
Yeah, it's Adam.
Yeah, so Adam, I'm getting confirmation there from head coach Wilson. So Adam coming into bowl is very difficult to pick the players down that end. My eyesight is obviously struggling.
Short and dispatched.
Let's hope those photographers over there got a good picture of that one because it came straight at them.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a good test of their cricket awareness as well to know that they could be in the firing line for anything short.
We're going to make some changes in the field as a result of that as well. Let's see if we can get Adam pitching it up a little bit more. One was short as well, but not punished by Bauhinia.
Yeah, she's got away with that one. Jade Jets at 44 for 1 after 8.2 are well ahead of the game, going along at 5.28 and over and only requiring 3.4 as we see a no ball for the double bouncing delivery, and Kinu will have the opportunity to try and capitalise off a free hit and see where she can hit this.
Oh, and a good comeback there by Anna.
Yeah, interesting approach to the free hit there. There just seemed to be no real intent to go after the ball and be willing to take a risk, knowing that there's no chance of getting out unless you get run out. It was just very respectfully just played and defended into the covers as and it drops short and gets away with the short ball as it's pulled away straight to Marine Hyder at just behind square leg.
And then a toss, and that's gone over the head of Marine this time and gone for 4. So, Adam's body language is just saying, I don't quite want to be here, so let's hope that she can just get through this over. And maybe Carrie Chan needs to think about who's her next in line for having a bowl. She's gone up and given some confidence to Anna. Faster run up there. As we all know, as a bowler, or a non-bowler for me, confidence in your run up and confidence in you being able to bowl the right ball is really, really important. So Kerry's done really well going and talking with her young player and getting her through that over. I'm a definite non-bowler these days. My confidence is shot. There's no chance that I can hit the pitch at all. And that's what goes through my mind when I get the ball in hand, and that's exactly what happens. So effectively retired from the bowling side of things. I can completely understand when somebody says that their mind's not right for bowling, because it's a real struggle to be able to bowl with confidence if your mind is playing games with you. Someone who doesn't have a problem in that is Richie. So here she comes in. Is this her third or her fourth over?
Richie coming into her third over. Just sliding down the leg side. They're still struggling to hit. Good battle this between the two teammates as Mariko looks to sweep the ball, which is a strength for her, but also definitely a mode of dismissal for her as well.
Particularly against Ruchi, actually. I think Ruchi has gotten her scalp a couple of times, so really...
Oh, speaking of the commentator's curse, and Ruchi missing out on what really looked like a regulation caught and bowled, and well, that's the opportunity that you've been given, you've missed it, and a player like Mariko, I'm not sure she's going to give you another one. Well, that's going to deflate the Bauhinia Stars, and they're going to have to recover from that disappointment of missing out on what was the prime opportunity to get the headline batsman out of the Jade Jets and then set themselves up with an opportunity to try and really attack and take some more wickets and put some pressure on. Ruchi seems to be a bowler that her first over can be a little bit shaky as she gets through her nerves and just gets into her spell, but she's beginning to bowl really, really nicely when she's getting that ball flighted and pitching just outside the off stump and turning into the stumps. And was enough to create a caught and bowled chance that on this occasion she wasn't able to take.
Yeah, she's relatively tall for a spinner. So she does get that additional, the height of her actually gives her a little bit more additional flight. You'll see she's got quite a nice little jump in her step. So that seems to be the end of her over. Seem to struggle a little bit with our count.
Oh no, we're back in.
We're back in. We're back for another one. So a little bit of confusion here in this innings around how many balls there are in an over.
Ruchi seems to be just tricking these umpires a little bit today. First in the batting innings at walking up to the wrong end and facing up without being picked up by anyone, and then bizarrely almost got through a 5-ball over, but was called back to complete the final delivery as new gloves are run on for Mariko. It's incredibly hot out there, and not surprising to see a change of gloves taking place. And along with the change of gloves, we see a change in the bowling with Captain Carrie Chan coming into bowl at the softball end.
Yeah, so change in end for Carrie now, so with her second spell, so let's see whether that has any impact. The wind seems to have dropped off a little bit now, so maybe that's no longer a factor and it doesn't matter so much as to which end she's coming from. So you see with the Manhattan up on screen at the moment, this was around the time that the Bauhinia Stars did start to struggle a little bit with taking their runs. They were 4 wickets down at this stage. So I think the Jade Jets having that ability to only have the 1 wicket down can play a little bit more freely. And you'll see there Mariko getting to the pitch of the ball and lofting that over cover there. 3 runs.
Yeah, it's a lovely shot. It wasn't a million miles off the sort of sweeper of sorts that's out there. That's sort of on a extra cover line. Yeah, really interesting fielding position. Seems to be very deliberate in terms of Carrie backing herself, I'm guessing, to pitch the ball up and understanding that Mariko may want to come down the wicket, as she's done there, and squirts off the inside edge to mid-wicket for 1 run. So Carrie coming in here and looking like she's bowling with a lot of purpose and a clear plan for what she wants to do to each batsman as she calls in that sort of extra cover sweeper into the ring and comes in to bowl to Keenan. Yeah, it's a much better pace, that, Tracy. I think for Carrie, if she's bowling that sort of pace through the air, it's not easy for the batsman to come down the wicket or sit back and wait for it to drop short. Makes it a lot more challenging and forces the batsman to make a decision, and she drops a little bit short and it's chipped over mid-wicket for 2.
Yeah, I would say not confidently hit over mid wicket, but at least it did go well over the fielder's head there. So she seemed a bit cramped in her shot there, Kinu. And that one a little bit too wide, leaving that one for the umpire to signal.
And around the grounds, Wanderers forming a partnership, 133 for 6 after 31 overs. So the ball's chipped over mid-wicket again, and that one has got the goods to go all the way to 4-4. As we see a few of the media and cameramen relocating into the shade at the police station end as the sun begins to drop down and the shade from the trees begins to come over the ground. Those cameramen that are sitting in the sun and have been all afternoon must be absolutely cooking.
Well bowled there by Carrie, tossing that one right up, seeing if she could get a bit of turn. So who's she going to go with from a bowling perspective now? Is this Marie? No, is it Miriam? It's Miriam again? Is it Maheen?
That's Marianne Bibby with her brand new bright highlighter yellow shoes, ready to come in and bowl a spell from the police station end. So a change of ends for her. Again, we're just going to say the same thing, Tracy. You've got to come in, bowl full, target the top of off, and if you do that, you're putting yourself in with a chance to take some wickets, and you're going to be really challenging the batsman to do something about the delivery that you're bowling, whether that's to score off it or to make sure that they're solid in defence. And the team, as we said at the start of the day, the team that's more consistent at doing that is more than likely going to come out on top. And thus far, the Jade Jets has been the most consistent based on their first innings and what we've seen of this innings thus far. So the Bauhinia Stars, they've got to start attacking that top of off, and they've got to make the most of chances that come their way. They've missed a key caught and bowled chance that went back to Ruchi to dismiss Mariko, and that would have really changed the complexion of this innings, with Mariko being in tremendous amount of form in the cricket she's playing. To have her out and back in the pavilion would have been open the door just a little bit for them.
I agree with that. Miriam just pushing that one wide. She needs to get her rhythm here. This was the end that she did take her 5 wickets from in that previous match, so hopefully she's more comfortable at this end. Oh, and again another wide. So giving them runs. There's not that many runs on the board to give, so we don't want them to be giving them too many. It's a much better bowl for
A much gooder bowl, Tracy, a much gooder bowl.
Yeah, my English is really good at the moment. Well bowled there by Miriam.
We need to see more gooder bowls, Tracy.
Yes.
And the more gooder bowls we see, the more gooder the cricket. That's another gooder delivery from Mariam. Excellent
I
stuff.
tell you what, it's bad enough somebody picking on your words, but when it's a New Zealander picking on your words, it's even worse.
Shots fired in the commentary box. Oh, excellent. Another gooder delivery, and just hit out to mid-on for no run.
You can't keep going with this.
Oh, we can persist for the rest of the over. We'll just keep that in the back pocket for the next couple of WPL matches. Oh, not so good there, and that's hit between wide of mid-off as Emma Lai chases the ball, and Keeney comes back for 2.
Must be the heat getting to my head. Struggling with the words. Well played there by Kinu.
Full again, and no runs scored off the final delivery, and that takes the score to 65 for 1 after 12 overs. The Jade Jets ticking along at 5.3 and over with a required rate of 2.4, so if these two keep going along, the result really will just be a formality unless something radical happens.
So do we have an update there on the Wanderers?
Yeah, scores on the doors. KCC Infidels batted first, 183 all out, failing to bat their 50 overs. And the Wanderers, just as you asked that, it looks like they may have just lost a wicket, and will be 139 for 8 if my Crick HQ is for 7. For 7, I say. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. 139 for 7, chasing that 183, so target run rate for them is 2.5 and over.
They just need to
but the
survive
45
it.
runs, and I'll tell you what, last time they were in that situation, they really took it down to the wire and were 9 down, and well, they managed to just squeeze over the line. So those people sitting there watching that will be feeling the tension in the air in what is essentially a relegation match, and the team that wins avoids relegation. The team that loses, well, it'll be all down to the final match of the Sunday League this Sunday. Ruchi comes in and just dabbed to short third man for no run.
Okay, trying to get the enthusiasm going up in the field there. There's cheering going on, I would say, over the entire women's
That's up now. Who's under it? Who's gonna take? Oh, it's dropped. It's shelled, and I don't know who that was. Is that
Shaz?
Maheen?
So it's gone a long way in the air, and then come down. Maybe some indecision as to who was going for it. Maheen just didn't quite get the hands around it.
As it's worked into the leg side, and Mariko happy to just sit at the non-striker's end and just take a little bit of a breather, I think, after that, where she's come down the wicket and looked to launch that into the softball area. Richie comes in, slides down the leg side, and it's a wide delivery.
So the score's now getting quite close. 69.
Yeah. It just shows you what can happen, though. If you string some good deliveries together, you really put yourself in the mixer to take a wicket, Tracy.
That is true, that is true. So interesting to compare this match to the first match. Well
Down
played
the wicket.
there by Mariko. Just a single, good fielding by Emily, but Mariko makes it in quite comfortably. So interesting to compare this match being the first of 3 series in the T20 compared to the first of 3 series that we had in the longer format. We had a very similar type of scenario where basically the Jade Jets took control of the batting and really made it look very strong. And then the second match the Bauhinia Stars came back and really turned it around and put the pressure back on, which made them the third match of the series, an extremely tight and stressful match. So don't be surprised if the next match the Bauhinia Stars come back and look a different team, right? They do have the capability to really push the Jade Jets, and we just haven't quite seen them at their best today.
Yeah, absolutely. And the loss of Kwong can't be understated. She brings with her a huge amount of experience to the team, and she's unable to play today, but will be back in for the second match, I believe, which will be a huge boost to the Bauhinia Stars, having that experience as well as a skilled player in her own right.
So if I recall correctly, match 2 will be on Sunday the 20th of June, and match 3 the week later on Sunday the 27th.
26th or 27th, yeah.
I think it's Sunday, so we do have a bit of a break after this one. We're middle of May now, so it'll be a month until the next match. And then the decider the week after. Oh, and that's well caught there by Captain Carrie Chan.
Yeah, wide half volley, and Kinu not getting her foot across to close to the line of the ball, and has hit that no higher than waist high, and that's pocketed by Carrie with a very comfortable catch. And you know, it's a wicket, and well earned by Mariam after stringing together some reasonable deliveries, and just too little too late, I think.
Carrie is shaking the hand after that catch, so it did come at pace. It's a good thing that she's shaking the right hand rather than the left hand, so it should be okay for her to continue on with bowling. And should be no issues from an injury perspective. So in comes Lemon Chung, the wicketkeeper for the Jade Jets. Where we will have the tallest player on the Jade Jets with the smallest player with the Jade Jets in together.
Is there a tall off between her and Becky?
Not difficult for the scorers to work out who's on strike when these two are batting together.
Yeah, 11 runs required now. So it should really just be a formality, but you never know. Certainly an opportunity for the Bauhinia Stars to finish strong and get some confidence out of their bowling performance here. Make sure they're attacking the stumps, pick up a few wickets, and be able to have that confidence knowing that they're able to execute their skills consistently. They've missed out on 2 regulation chances off Mariko, and I'll be very disappointed with that. Yes, look at that, Lemon
Started with a lap shot over the keeper's
pulls out
head.
the scoop and picks up 2, and any other day of the week it would have been 4 had this ground had its haircut, but not to be today. Great shot to start things off with. Certainly makes it challenging when you have a player like Lemon if she's going to then start scooping and lapping, and you have someone like Mariko at the other end who's physically going to challenge you and hit the ball back past you as a bowler. That's going to test you. Really shouldn't change the game plan. Keep looking to hit top of off, but need to adjust your field sets to acknowledge the way that these players might play. As Lemon looks to just deflect that full toss and unable to get it past, get it behind point.
I was talking about it.
Short and just using the pace into the leg side, and not enough to beat a packed little couple of fielders on the 45 there and at square leg. There's no run added to the score, and after 14 overs the Jade Jets are 75 for 2, requiring another 9 runs to finish this first of 3 Women's Premier League T20 matches and go 1-0 up in the T20 series.
So Carrie continuing on, this must be her last over.
Yeah.
Yep, so currently got 1 for 22 off her 3 overs. She'll be looking to get a couple more wickets in this last over, I would expect. She can get the wicket of Mariko Hill, who has given 2 chances so far, both off Rich Heater's bowling. Let's see if Carrie can get a chance off her. Starts with a dot ball. Mariko just using the feet a little bit to get down the pitch.
Yeah,
Single.
just batting with more and more confidence, looking to come down the wicket and, as you say, get to the pitch of the ball and try and hit that ball either along the ground or in the air. It's a good little battle between Carrie and Mariko. It's certainly a deflated looking Bauhinia stars out there, resigned to the fact that this game is all but gone.
Full toss and punched straight back down past the bowler. So it's going to go for 2. Well played by Lemon.
Yeah, nice shot there by Lemon, hitting it down the ground, and again the outfield plays its part, but any other day it would have been a 4, so making the most of the over pitch delivery, and Carrie needs to just keep bowling that slightly quicker pace, as that's done everyone, the batsman, the wicket keeper. Dorothea runs down to tidy things up.
Yes, it would be interesting to take a look at the wagon wheel of both of these teams. I think that the Jade Jets would have had a lot more runs through straight shots, and Bauhinia Stars likely to have had more square of the wicket. Although actually looking at that, the Jade Jets is kind of all around the place. Kind of consistently around the entire wheel.
Yeah.
Just feel that they've played a little bit straighter with their shots, the Jade Jets.
Yeah, definitely a lot more played through the offside, and I think that's a reflection of the bowling as well, with Allison bowling around the wicket and bowling a wide outside off channel. Oh, that's squeezed off the inside edge by the looks of things, and it'll just be, well, they're coming back for 2. Lemon scampers through quickly to pick up 2.
Including having to go around one of the fielders who was there backing up, but was actually right in her line as well. So she made a nice little detour around the fielder there.
Yeah, and just a score update, the Wanderers creeping along to 152 for 7 after 36 overs, so requiring another 32 off 84 balls.
The call has been made, they can do this now, but you know, at the moment there is Tom Hicks and Alex Nash.
Everybody in this game can bat and bowl, Natesh, and it's fair to say anything could happen with these last 3 wickets and these last 32 runs. I say that the winner of the match would avoid relegation, but if there were to be a tie, I think both would avoid relegation at the same time, sharing the points. That would take them to essentially 2.5 wins each, if you count a tie as half a win. That'll put them on. They'll be alright. Yeah. So a tie here would look after both teams. As we just missed a little bit of a cry from the keeper and bowler in the hope that Mariko, the umpire, might oblige.
Oh.
And that's a delightful delivery. That
Great delivery.
you won't see a gooder delivery than that. You just won't see a gooder delivery than that.
The goodest one of the day.
It's absolutely the goodest. Now let's have a look at the replay. I think that's, angled in, cut away and taken the top of off stump. Angles in, cuts
Lovely.
away, top of the off. The big come on. I hope the photographers got that because that was a fantastic delivery and celebration and brings what a wonderful innings by Mariko, 29 off 29. Certainly not a chanceless one with 2 drop catches, but you create your own luck and you make the most of it, and she certainly took her team a long way to chasing down the Bauhinia Stars total and departs with the score at 82.
And that brings the captain of the Jade Jets in to bat, Jasmine Titmus. So let's see whether Jasmine and Lemon can be there at the end. Entering the game.
As we see the Stars 12th and 13th players running the drinks off, big smiles on their face and still enjoying the game as Jasmine faces her first ball and just pushes it out to cover for no run. I mean, on a scale of good to gooder, Tracy, where would that ball sit?
These guys think that I will be coming back for commentary in the future. If they keep going like this, there's no chance.
There's nothing like a bit of banter between an Aussie and a Kiwi.
Of course. I'll take it on the chin, that's fine.
God, I better not slip up because I'm going to cough it next time, aren't I?
I do think that was one of Miriam's best balls that we've seen her bowl. Oh, and that was also quite a nice looking ball with Jasmine seemed to get away, but Miriam really does get quite a lot of movement in the air, and so she is quite hard to judge. And you could see that with that ball to Mariko Hill. Really moved in the air and then cut away.
Yeah.
Had Mariko a little bit confused as to what's going on. We seemed...
And that concludes the day.
That's the day.
That's the
Oh,
game
sorry.
over.
The single...
As the one run brings up the Jade Jets' 84th run, concluding the innings at 84 for 3 after 15.4 overs, cruising along at a healthy 5.36 and over, resulting in the game finishing early and the Jade Jets winning this game comfortably by 7 wickets, and that takes them 1-0 up in the best of 3 T20 series in the Women's Premier League. The Bauhinia Stars now have a bit of time to regroup, couple of weeks to regroup as we recommence the Women's Premier League in the middle of June, and they'll be hoping to fix up on what happened today. The batsmen needing to stay in longer, and the running between the wickets definitely a positive out of the day, but their key batsman, women I should say, not really capitalising and staying at the crease long enough, with the exception of Shanzine and helped out by Ruchi. And their bowling, well, Mariam's wicket just there before the end demonstrates exactly where you need a bowl. Hit that top of off, and doesn't matter who you're bowling to, you're giving yourself a chance to get any batswoman out at any time. Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that player of the match will be Mariko Hill for her 3 wickets in the bowling innings and her 29 off 30 deliveries. Phenomenal display there, and continues to go to strength this season, performing with the bat and improving with the ball and beginning to hunt those stumps. Yeah, so that concludes things here for the day. Any final thoughts, Tracy?
No, I'm looking forward to the next match. I do think that the challenge is now out there, and I think the Bauhinia Stars can really come back and fight back from this position. So really looking forward to that second match on the 20th of June.
Yeah, and feel free to track down on YouTube. The KCC Infidels are playing the Wanderers. There's no live commentary, but you'll be able to track the live feed of that game as the Wanderers are stuttering their way towards the KCC Infidels 183, currently sitting at 157 for 7 after 37.02 overs. Thanks a lot for joining us here for this live stream by Cricket Hong Kong here at Ting Kwong Road Recreation Ground for match 1 of the Women's Premier League T20 series. We'll see you in a couple of weeks in mid-June for match 2 of the series, and until then, take care, look after yourself, and we'll see you soon.